All right, let me stop right here just for a second. I thought this would be a good time to talk about character design and other things for people that are trying to develop their own comic book with their characters. So these are a couple of the characters from a book that I'm working on. I don't even want to call it a book yet. It's an idea that I have. I don't have it as far enough to make a book, but I'm just practicing the characters, how to draw the characters. And that's something you have to do instead of just continuing to draw your character straight up and down in a cool pose. You're going to have to draw that character in every kind of position, not just, fighting positions or just, superhero positions. Sitting down in a chair or drinking water, whatever. You're going to have to do all that before you can actually put your book out, because if your character looks different, from one panel to the next, if it doesn't look the same, then people will just, they'll get on your art. So this is something I started, and it's not something that I started for YouTube. I was just doing it for me to practice, but then I put it up for some reason, probably because the guns. I didn't want them to have regular guns, because this is kind of like in the future. They developed these guys. These are like part animals, part cyborgs. For those of you who have not seen this yet, this might be your first time coming to my channel. This might be your first time seeing this, these characters. The aliens came to Earth and basically almost wiped out every human being. There's about 100,000 humans left on the planet. So some smart professor figured out that they're not harming animals. They really can't see the animals, as in they don't detect the animals. So they decided to take animals, part animal and part cyborg, and combine them to use them as soldiers while the other humans hide out. I mean, they can detect humans wherever, but the other humans are hiding out. Well, basically, they froze them. They froze all of the humans except for one. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story. It's a little more to it, so I'll just give you the rough outline. They froze every human except one. That is the head scientist for this project. Let me show you these guys. Some of you have seen this, some of you have not. These are the animal soldiers, and I don't know if I'm going to call it animal corps or dog soldiers. I haven't figured that out yet. But these are the animals they combined with the cyborg body, cyborg brain, but they still have the animals' ferocity and instinct, so they can fight these aliens. So the problem I had was dressing them. This is the cyborg body. I didn't want them to just run around with the cyborg body, because God knows that's a lot of detail. If I'm trying to draw this thing, over and over and all these lines and so forth, so I still have to figure out the back detail, draw them from the back. This was like the first initial sketch of it. So it's a lot of drawing. So I'm going to put them in regular military clothes, because that's how we think. We're going to put them in military clothes. So I did not want. I kind of wanted them to have maybe he has blue, he has black, he has you know, but I didn't want it to be Ninja Turtle-ish. I wanted it to kind of like stand alone with some seriousness to it. But I also wanted them to have their own gear, the same gear. So I don't want to have to keep drawing different gear, you know, like the vest and the pouches and so forth. So I have to figure that out. Also have to figure out the colors, which will probably be black to save me a lot of time, you know, drawing detail. Black shirts. You know, I thought about shirts with a number, like he'd be number 1, have a big number 2 on his shirt. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. And usually when you do comics or when you're trying to figure out basically a reality, it could take like a year or so to do. So this is, you know, something, as I said, I never planned this to be seen as a video. I was just going to draw it, just to draw it for me, to put it into my folder, which I keep here. And this is a lot of the stuff, you know, for and the soldiers that I have. And keep a folder, you know, with all your stuff in it. So as I say, I didn't want the standard gun, so I developed this gun. I could basically design this gun, and I'm gonna have to draw it over and over and over, and I think that's one thing that slowed me down, is because I had to figure out how to draw the gun from different angles. So let me show you the gun that I actually came up with. This is the gun. This is the Savior 1. It's a different gun. It's like a and it has like a rocket launcher at the bottom, on the bottom. So yeah, I have to figure out to draw this in different angles. And this was the alien. It took me forever to figure out what kind of alien I want. But these are the aliens, and they have these little guns. These more kind of like mini rail guns that they shoot out like these darts or just metal rods, you know, to impale people. And it hooks up on their backs, and you don't see the aliens because they're inside the armor. So you needed a different type of gun to actually pierce that armor. So this is what I came up with, something that was like really tough. So this is the size of the alien compared to the size of a human. But the animals are bigger. They would probably be like right up here, because if a bear stands up, he's definitely bigger. Like, what is a bear? Maybe like 7 feet or something like that. So they are basically the size that they are if they could kind of stand up. Like, this is the fox, and I was gonna make the fox a sniper because he was small. She was small, but I think I'm gonna give it to the wolf. So you have the German Shepherd, which is Duke, which is the professor's pet. He used that as the first experiment to hook them together, or to combine the DNA or whatever. So we have the lion, which is the second in command. We have the tiger with female third, and you have the wolf, you have the fox. After the third, we just people. The gorilla, the bear. I don't know if it's gonna be a polar bear or just brown bear. I got to figure out which is the most powerful bear. I think it's the grizzly or brown bear, out of one or two. The rhinoceros and the bull, just for their ferocity in fighting. So they're gonna fight the aliens, but as I said, I have to figure out before I start drawing, exactly how I want them to look and to be dressed. And I also have to practice drawing animals, because I've never was an animal drawer. So you have to be able to draw the animals' faces, the expressions, up, down, so forth, so on. And I usually, when I draw, I like to kind of draw with my mouth open and expressions. A lot of people just draw with their mouth closed and just an angry expression on like every picture. For me, I like to be more subtle. And I like to have like the corner of their mouth open and one eyebrow up, one, you know, down, just to be a little more natural. So that's just, it's going to be a hard thing to do. No, I'm not going to say it's going to be a hard thing. It's going to be a job to do that with animals, because as I say, now if anybody out there is like, oh my God, I want to draw that, I love to draw that and draw animals, yeah, hook me up, you know. I'm willing to sub this thing out, because I've got so much going on right now. So anyway, yeah, so I just pause here, and I have to work with these guns and redo, like, because I drew right through the gun here. I started getting happy with my inks and forgot that he had a gun, so I'm gonna have to wipe that out somehow, some way. So yeah, I have to work with this lion face, because it's not exactly a lion. Another thing is every one of them has collar. They have a collar. So the collar right here, these collars, they attach the head, and you have like the spine and everything else inside, inside the armor, but it's attached to the collar. So I said, okay, to have a t-shirt or shirt on, it had to be like an open a big open neck collar. He tears his up because he's kind of like the fighter. So, but I have like the rhinoceros, who's a tank. He has these big spikes on it, so he might have to have a sleeveless shirt. I wanted everybody to just be in one tight black suit with the gear on top. Saved me a lot of time for drawing, but it would be hard to draw a black suit with all the bolts and stuff on it, just like this guy. I mean, I could probably do it with the bear and so forth, but again, the open shirt. And I think about that. I mean, I could just draw them 1 second and then draw the next second when it's all black and say, oh, they got clothes on, but I like to run detail through my head so it will really make some type of sense. I mean, I know it's kind of, out there to have, an animal in a cyborg, but I mean, it could be done one day. You never know. But yeah, that's the problem I'm having. So I am going to get back to drawing. And it's hard for me to draw when I can't really see it in my head right away. That's why it's hard for me to just draw positions. I tell everybody, when I do like the action pose positions, it's hard for me to see a position just to draw it. I can start drawing, but then I have no idea how it's going to come out. So yeah. And then rulers, I hate to use rulers. When I was a kid, I would try to ink stuff and use rulers, and it would always mess up on me, my inking, and I'd give up. That's why one reason I really didn't love inking. I do it, I don't love it, but I'll get a team together one day. So enough explaining, because I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Let's get back to drawing. Okay, so another thing is, am I going to go for realism? Am I going to try to draw each animal as real as I can with the fur and the so forth and so on? Or am I going to, kind of like cartoonish it to make it quicker? Because I don't want to start something that I think is really good and unique and then not be able to put it out because it's just taking too long, which is like every comic book I do. Yeah, so I don't know. I would say I would start a quick start or starter, whatever. But I tried that once and I got 0. So, I don't like to keep doing stuff when I figure it might not work. So, yeah, it would be nice to have a quick start campaign. I could hire some artists. I could do a lot of things. Looking for a pen to start inking. So, yeah, what did I say? Realism. Something else I was going to say. Cannot remember. All right, back to drawing. So, you see, if I took all of this detail and I drew it panel after panel after panel after panel, it would be murder on me, and it would take me forever to try to actually finish a book. So it's going to be either cartoony or it's going to just have like the anime hair, which is just, just big clumps, two or three clumps going in a certain way. I haven't figured it out yet. I'm still figuring out what I really want to characters. And as I say, it might take like a year before you get your book together, because there's so many different aspects that you have to do to it before you get it together. It's like each animal has to have a different personality. They can't just be all evil and mean, every one of them. So they have to have these personalities. And he's the leader, and he wants to be the leader because he believes that he is the king of beasts. So, the king is not a follower. So, and then there's the cat and dog rivalry between the two. And he's always trying to get the tiger on his side about, cats being more superior than dogs. So there's that rivalry. They don't really hate each other, but it's kind of like, yeah. They respect his leadership because he was the first one to be born. And in the beginning, there's a lot of birth terminology in the creation of these guys. So, and when they come online and come to life, they say happy birthday to him. The professor's there, the head professor's there, and he kind of greets them by saying happy birthday. Once they come online, so they know that they were born anew. He does have spikes on his hands. Not his hands, the back of his wrists. So, yeah. Which would be a lot of detail. I can see this as a animation, a good animation. You hear that, you animation studios? Unique story, unique characters. Hit me up. Hit me up. But as I say, if you have characters, you need to be drawing your characters. Stop drawing Batman and Superman and Wolverine and all those, and just draw your characters exclusively. That's it. Okay, so now I'm trying to figure out exactly how I had this guy. And the gun is going to be the hardest part because the glare from my light, and this pencil gives it glare. This is why you see that, because it's the only way I can see the pencil lines, because it's just so much glare. It's so much glare that's almost invisible. And as I say, I started this probably last year, realistically. And yeah, it's been sitting somewhere, and I don't know how it got all this black smudges. These black smudges all over the thing, so I don't know. What else you got, Lion? Because there are times when even I doubt my skills, and that's the wrong thing to have. Never doubt your skills, but I mean, there are times when I'll say I'm not good enough, but good enough for what? Good enough for somebody to see my art? Good enough for the world? So don't doubt yourself. You're given a talent for a reason, not to just sit on it. You never know what you create. You might create the next Batman, and then the world will know, your character, and maybe you. I mean, we know Batman, but do you know who created Batman, or do you know who created Superman? I mean, yes, it's easy to find out, but if you create the next Batman with your character, or he becomes as popular as Batman, you start getting those royalties. If, like, say, DC or Marvel sees that, or somebody else sees that, Pixar, Disney, and they say that's really good, that's unique, I'm gonna buy that, and you getting these royalties, and you seeing your toys from your characters, and t-shirts and video games and all kind of other stuff from your character. Sculptures, that's kind of like the dream that I have. So yeah, I'll just keep on going till I can draw no more. And when I get to that point, I'll start writing. If my eyes get so bad that I can't see, I'll start writing. Okay, here you have the completed piece. I mean, I could keep going until I mess it up, or I can keep going until I make it better. But initially, this was never to be filmed, but I decided to film it at the last minute because it had been sitting there for a long time. So I said, why not just film it, finish it, film it. That way to give me some incentive to drawing it. And my chair is like crazy, and this is a new chair too. So anyway, these are the these are the animals. I'm torn between the name, but I think I'm going to call it Animal Corps versus Dog Soldier. So yeah, this is a start. This is basically practice for me to learn how to draw these characters, and I still need to be able to draw the lion, the heads from the side and up, and put some kind of expressions on it. So it's in the making. It's gonna be a minute before it's done, but I'm just gonna keep drawing the characters until I kind of get them, where I'm happy with it, so that I can start the book. So that's gonna be it. I'm hiccuping. I never hiccup. That's going to be it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next video where I will be drawing. I have no idea what I'm going to be drawing. So I'm seeing he's a lat right here. As I say, I can keep going until I make it better or until I mess it up. But, yeah. So that's going to be it. I'll see you guys. Leave a comment. Leave a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, leave a 2 thumbs up. So I'll see you guys later. Later.